Okay, back on the carbs. I've taken out the kind of, I can't remember what it's called, but the slow jet and the one in the middle, can't remember what it's called, and I divided them all up into their various things. As you can see in there, the floats and everything. The thing that we do notice immediately is that all of the slow jets, I've got them soaking in some carb cleaner, they're all blocked. These kind of main jets, if that's what you call them, I can't remember, they're all clear inside. I can actually get a kind of, I don't know if you can see there's some light in there, but believe it or not, that is actually clear, that tube, if you like. But these are all blocked, so I'm soaking them in some carb cleaner at the minute and trying to clear out the blockage. And then, if I can get them all clear, clean them all out, reassemble, then get them back on the bike. I've been working on the carburetors, and one of the things I've got to do is put some new drain lines on each carburetor. They kind of go through a venturi kind of gap, so I've worked out they go through a kind of hole in the frame to in case there is an overflow. It's not going to go on the frame or anything like that, or on the engine. So I've bought 3 meters of this drain hose, and I've worked out that it should be 62 centimeters for the 2 central carburetors, and 82 for the outer ones. I can't remember, but I've worked out the proportion anyway. Okay, just reassembling the carbs, just been putting the main jets in, and as you can see, those brand spanking new slow jets. Stick the last one in there. I'm working with one hand, so, and the other component parts have been cleaned up, and they will, margarine tubs cleaned up, and they will go in there next. And the idea is to get these back on the bike, hopefully today. I actually took the opportunity to do repaint the engine castings under the where the carbs and the airbox go, ready to polish the outside. I've done some paintwork just on the logo here, so I'm just going to polish off the steel castings here. The interior parts have been painted. I'm quite pleased with that. Used a Simonized paint to do that, and it's come out really well. I'm very pleased with that. That's the kind of thing I used. Simonized aluminium engine enamel. So this was one that was recommended for the CB750. It's a kind of matte finish, and I'm very pleased with it. I think once I polish up the external casings there, it's going to look fab. Yeah, the black paint on the casing had all worn off, and so I just used some Humbrol enamel, black enamel, matte, painted it in there, and that's good. So, you know, obviously because it's in relief, the actual Honda logo, so that can be polished up quite nicely. Right, that's the carbs rebuilt now, ready to go back. Well, get the intake boots on, sorry, the exhaust boots on, to get these onto the engine. What I would say, just a little tip, when you're working with carburetors, you know, some of the components are really small, and if you drop them and lose them, you're buggered. So I use this. This is actually a cat litter tray. There's just a nice size, and it's quite deep, but not too deep that it's restricting access. So you can do everything in it, and if you drop something, which you inevitably do, you're not going to lose it. Right, okay, so I've got the bank of carbs onto the cylinder head now. Just got them supported with some cable ties onto the frame. Also, I've had to use some Jubilee clips actually until I get some correct ones. They're okay. I got narrow ones, so they actually fit okay. But it'd be nice to have the proper ones. The ones I had, just I think they'd stretched out too much. Actually, they weren't. They were still quite loose even when I tightened them up. But I think I'm going to get some lunch. That's enough for the day, and I'm going to start some spraying, I think. Well, it's been a nice day. So I got outside in the sunshine after lunch. Spent some time with 1200 grit wet and dry paper, and I've now put a primer coat on the side panels and the tank, and I have to say I'm very pleased. You'll notice I had to mask off the badges anyway because the previous owner had glued them in place, so there's no way around that. So I'm just going to have to see how they come out. I'll take off the masking tape later. That's decorator's masking tape I've used there on the primer coat, but I'll need to get some automotive stuff to do it for the base coat and the top coat. And with the tank, I looked at getting the kind of fuel filler cap off this morning, and although it's fairly straightforward to do, the screw on the hinge was chewed up completely. There's no way, and I wasn't going to start drilling it out, couldn't be arsed. So I just thought, well, let's mask it all up and see what I can do, see how it turns up. Like, even have to touch up with a little brush if necessary. But generally speaking, I'm pleased with it. We've got a good day for it today. So that base coat has gone on there. So it's the last we've seen of the strange multicoloured hippie that was on the tank. And look forward to getting the base coat and the 2K clear coat on top, but that's for another week. So I think I'm going to finish for the day. I've been at it all morning. I've been up since 5. Made a start then, so I've got the carbs on, which is what I wanted to do. So tomorrow, Sunday, I'll get the new air filter in the air box, get that fitted up. There's new boots to go on there to connect to the carbs, and then before I get it going again, I've got my auxiliary fuel tank there waiting ready. I'm going to do the valves and tappets because obviously it makes sense to do them, and I'll change the plugs. I might as well. I've got a new set of plugs, so I'll stick a fresh new set in. Do the valves, tappets, check the points, and get the air box on, and then I'm going to balance the carbs. Hopefully I've got it's in that box, a new vacuum gauge in there for it. Never actually used one myself, never owned a set myself. I did I used them in college, but it was a long time ago when I did my C&G. But good day, see you soon.